wrong, so bear with me. It's in vertical format. I'm just on the back of my boat in the marina at Yeppoon, and I'm just going to spend a minute out here showing you the new tender. This has been my project for the last 3 weeks, helping the guys build this and filming, and it's going to be very handy. I love the little boat. It's just so stable and just ideal for what I want. But look, I'm going to head inside now and get out of the wind. And now I'm going to have to turn the volume right down on. Turn the volume right down on my computer, where I'm looking at any comments that might come in. Now, the build of the tender has been quite a big process, and Fusion Tenders. I've got Ross here from Fusion Tenders. Come in, Ross. Take a seat. I'll see if we can get us both in shot. He's a big fella, Ross, a bit bigger than me. He dwarfs me a little bit.
I'll put my arm around you. There you
we'll have to cuddle up, mate. Okay, so Ross is one of the owners of Fusion Tenders, one of the business partners. So, Ross, explain to me, how did you get into building tenders?
Oh, right, eh? Well, basically, my mate and your friend, Peter Coram, him and I both live on our boats permanently and with our wives. And basically through conversation, we both acknowledged that we do need a new tender each. Pete had an inflatable tender, which to his surprise only lasted a couple of years. Because of the climate up here, the stitching and gluing seems to let go. So we decided that we wanted to build a foam sandwich fiberglass type of tender, which we've done.
Great. And tell me, Ross, your background is Pete's background is as a boat builder, and he's built some nice boats.
Beautiful.
Your background is as a carpenter. How does a carpenter come into the process?
Oh, righto. So, well, the whole process is new to me, but I'm learning very quickly. Peter's a great teacher. His 35 years of boat building experience with fiberglass boats is great. Me as a carpenter, the process of building, it goes through the design phase, and then we built a boat upside down, the hull, out of MDF timber paneling. So that's built on strong backs, and once that hull is finished, we then highly polish that, highly polish it, wax it, and we make the mold of that. And then we turn it over and we do the same for the deck. So we built the deck on top out of MDF, and we did the same process. So we've got a hull and a deck, and once they pop out of the mold, they then stick together, and that's how we build them.
Okay.
So that's where a carpenter comes into it.
Okay, well, good skills to have, both of you guys. I know Pete builds some fantastic boats. Anyone who doesn't know, Peter built the Shinkogan catamarans, and they're a pretty special sort of boat as well. Now, I guess I threw a bit of a spanner in the works for you guys, because I know you're still in the R&D stage. You're just getting things organised to build these boats, and I come along and say to you, well, look, I'd really like one of these tenders on the back of my boat. And you've gone out of your way to build this tender for me. I couldn't put a 3.3 metre one on the back of Peggy-Anne, but I wanted something about 2.6 metres in length. So you really have gone out of your way to do that. Now, you've seen the 2.6 metre tender in the water. We've given it a bit of a road test, not much yet. It's only been floating for a day, but you've seen it. Do you think that that's going to be something you might pursue down the track?
Yeah, well, look, the mould that you'll see in your videos is 3.3 long. So to make a 2.6, we basically cut 700 mil out of the centre and then join it in the cut and shut process to make a 2.6. It did take a bit of time, and it has slowed our building of moulds and setting up for production and so forth. as we still are in the R&D phase. But look, after launching the 2.6, all of us, Peter, myself, and you, all agree that it's a fantastic size, very stable, performs excellent. It ticks all the boxes. So yeah, we are going to, our next job will be to make a mould of the 2.6, and we'll offer that up as a production boat as well, along with the 3.3 at this stage.
Okay, Ross. So you have got, I know you have got a 3.3 metre boat that came out of the mould first, and I guess you've got to do a sink test on that and a few things. But if people are interested in a boat of that size, would there be anything available? Would that hull and deck look like going on the market pretty soon? So I guess you're going to be a little bit longer getting into production.
Yeah, so we have pulled one of the boats, 3.3s, out of the mould, and we call that our R&D boat, because basically we've built this plug freehand, so we want to make sure that it works well, everything works as it should, and we change things that don't. So that's the R&D process, and then there's the compliance and certification as well. So for us as a company to issue our own VIN numbers, we have to be certified to do so. So we've got to go through that process, and part of that is a sink test as well. So yes, we will be sinking the 3.3 as well. So the boat that we've got now will be available for sale once we've finished all that process, and we can fit the Australian builders plates and be compliant, ready for sale. So it'll be available, probably at a reduced price because it won't be brand new. It'll be used, but that'll be a bonus for someone.
Well, great. So one available already, and it could be a little bit of time before you can buy these tenders because there's a lot to do. But anyway, look, Ross, thanks very much for the effort you put into building this boat. You and Pete especially. He's not here at the moment, but he's gone down south to have a bit of a break, I think. But yeah, you've done a fantastic job on this boat. I'm absolutely wrapped in it, and yeah, it's fantastic. If any of you guys out there are interested in these boats and would like to buy one, they're Australian made, and would like to support a little company doing it, get in touch with me and I can pass you on to whoever. The business doesn't even have a website yet, so it's something that they've got to develop, and all those things have got to come into play. But it will happen. They're pretty focused on getting it up and running, and yeah, down the track you should be able to go to a website and maybe even order off it, something like that. So yeah, thanks again, Ross, for building my dinghy. I'm absolutely wrapped in it, and I'm going to take it on a bit of a trip.
Good on you, Norm. Thanks very much, mate. We're really stoked in building it for you, and yeah, hope you enjoy it.
Okay, thanks, Ross. Going on here. I'm back. I don't know what happened there. So the tenders on the back of the boat. A couple of issues I've got. My davit that lifts the tender out of the water is no longer quite long enough to actually lift the boat out. It's probably 200 mils short to lift it out easily. And look, I really need that boat to be able to come out of the water and go into the water really quickly and easily. I'm on my own most of the time, so it needs to be easy. So what I'm doing, I've got to ring a guy this afternoon. He's going to do some stainless steel work for me and just extend the davit out a bit, and that'll fix that problem. The other problem I've got, shock horror, my electric outboard has decided that it's not playing anymore. I'm getting an error message on it, and for what I want to do over the next 12 months, I really need reliability. So I'm just thinking now what I'm going to do as far as the outboard goes. And I think I might have to go back to a petrol outboard. This little dinghy is built to handle 6 horsepower. The electric outboard's only 3. I tried to do a deal with e-propulsion to put a 6 horsepower electric outboard on the back, but I couldn't come to any arrangement with them. And a 6 horsepower electric outboard, you're looking at about $13,000 to set it up, so it gets quite expensive. So I think what's going to happen, I'm going to have to go back to petrol. Okay, what are my plans for 2025? They're pretty big. I've been a month here in the marina at Yeppoon now while I've been filming the build of the new boat. So that's the next video coming out. Next week will be the start of the build process. So I'll show you that. It might be boring to some of you, but others will be quite interested in it. So that'll be my first video, but then I want to start traveling again and of course video it for you guys, take you along with me. Now what I've decided to do, I've spent 2 years up here in the tropics. I've absolutely loved Great Keppel Island. The marina here is expensive but quite good. Served the purpose while we were building this boat, but Great Keppel is a fantastic place to prop. And it's been warm. We haven't had any thunderstorms. We haven't had a lot of rain. It's been pretty fantastic. So I really have enjoyed it here, but I've had a couple of years in the tropics and I've decided to do something pretty radical. I'm going to head down to Tassie in the winter. Anyway, if I go down to Tassie, I've had 2 attempts to circumnavigate Tasmania and failed miserably on both attempts. And I think if you're going to do that circumnavigation, you've got to allow yourself a lot of time. I am going to miss out on the Wooden Boat Festival this year, but I'm not going to break my neck to get down there. I'm just going to cruise down and visit all the spots. I can spend a month in Lake Macquarie easily. It's a great boating destination. There's plenty of spots to visit on the way down, so I'm just going to take my time and get down there. But when I get down to Tassie, the plan is to get down to Hobart, have a look around there, down to Kettering, catch up with old friends down there, and then take the boat around the bottom, down past Matsuka Island, up to Port Davey. You'll love it there. It's fantastic scenery. Should be snow on Mount Rugby. Look, I love Tassie. I love the scenery. The scenery is absolutely spectacular, and I'll show you some of it. I love the people. The people are very welcoming, open and friendly. They're beautiful people in Tasmania. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Everyone that lives there, I think, is just fantastic. The only thing I don't really like is the cold weather. The cold weather really upsets me a bit, but I watched a video of some guys up in the Arctic Circle recently, and they made the comment, there's no such thing as really bad weather, but there is such a thing as really inappropriate clothing. So I've ordered thermals. Anaconda had a big Boxing Day sale, and I've ordered 3 sets of thermal wear for a base layer. So I'm going to dress appropriately. I've got a cabin heater on the boat. I've got a diesel heater on the boat. I'll have to give it a run because it hasn't run up here for quite some time. So there's things I'll have to do to get myself organised to get down and do that trip around Tassie. So I hope all you guys come with me. I think it'll be a great trip. I'm really looking forward to it now, but I'm going to be in the marina here for probably another 3 or 4 days before I head. I've got to get the davit fixed. I've got to get a new outboard, I think, for this new tender. So all things I've got to do, but really looking forward to getting going. I'm just going to read, just bear with me, I'm going to read a few of the comments, see if I can answer any. Well, yeah, it's a dream boat project. Yeah, well, I think Pete's very good at what he does, and cutting and shutting, we did have to adjust a little bit. I think there was about a 5 mil discrepancy between the front half and the back half, but Pete very good at joining that back up and then fairing it and making it look like a new boat. So the repair is probably stronger than the rest of the boat, but when I had this boat built, I could have had it made with lighter laminates, which would have made the boat lighter, but I decided to opt for a heavier laminate, which makes the boat a bit more bulletproof. I'd rather have something that's a bit solid. The weight doesn't really worry me because I anchor it off usually when I go ashore, and I lift it up on a davit, so I don't have a problem with the weight. So I've made it a bit heavier. It affects performance, I guess a bit, but look, I'm really impressed with the boat. It's good, and the cut and shut process, you wouldn't know it had been done really unless I told you. Hiya, Jane. Yeah, well, the engineers said the downside of electric solutions is the weight problem, and it is that you have to have a remote battery. The problem for me is the expense problem. They're very, very expensive for what you're getting. But the thing is, I really need reliability. If I'm going to go down to Port Davey, you're in a very remote wilderness area down there, and you have to be able to do things yourself. I understand outboard motors, how they work. I can pull a carby apart and fix it, do things like that. They don't usually let you down and not work that you can't, occasionally, but not very often. So as long as you maintain them, I think a petrol outboard is going to be the way I'm going to go. Of course, that means I've got to carry fuel for it and things like that. It's all doable, but I think it's the way I'm going to go, just for reliability and knowing that I'm going to have an outboard. I haven't rode this dinghy yet. It'll row all right, I reckon, but that's something we might have to try. We haven't had much time in it, to be honest. Good on you, Graham. You can buy me a coffee anytime, mate. Love a coffee. Ross just brought one over with him, which was great. Thanks, Mike. I like making the videos, and it's good to see you guys up here watching them. I meet so many people that watch the vids. I'm glad people like watching them because that's my hobby. I just like putting them together, so it's great. But I really have got to travel again because there's nothing for me to film. I've filmed the build of this dinghy. I've got lots of editing to do on the build process. Probably be 2 or 3 vids in it, I reckon. But I really need to get going and film some travel because I know that's what a lot of you people like. Okay, no worries, Jeff. It'd be good to catch up with you down there, mate. Love Lake Macquarie. Okay, well, no worries, James. I've had a good run out of that little electric outboard, and I have really loved it, but I think what I'm doing, and with the new boat I've got, there's other options available, and unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to go back to petrol. The other thing you want to think about if you're buying an electric outboard, you've got to have a means of charging it. I've got pretty good lithium set up on the boat, and it makes it pretty easy to charge, but by the same token, going down to Tassie, a lot of overcast days, I'm probably going to be thinking twice about spending 2.5 hours drawing. I think it draws about 20 amps when it's charging, so that's something I won't have to really take into consideration with a petrol outboard. If anyone knows anyone out there with a Suzuki dealership that wants to do a bit of a deal for an old dude, please pass it on because I want to put a petrol outboard on the boat, and I will promote it for sure. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm not after anything for nothing, or I am really, but even a bit cheaper would be good. The electric outboard, I've had it for 3, at least maybe 4 years, Brian, and it's been great, but look, there's a lot of plastic on them. You'll notice if you've seen the outboard on the back of the boat, I buy a child's wetsuit in the op shop and cut it up, cover all the plastic up. If you left that plastic out in the weather, my outboard sits on the dinghy all the time. It doesn't come off and get put away, which a lot of these electric outboards probably do. So I cover it so that the plastic doesn't degrade. And even though I cover it, there's a couple of bits broken off it because just coming into the boat and getting underneath the boat and things like that, tying it up to jetties. It's pretty hard work on outboards and dinghies. That's why I've gone for the heavier dinghy, because I feel a bit safer about having things that are a bit more robust. But yeah, it's all right, but it's, yeah, I think a petrol outboard would last a fair bit longer. So take that into account. Flinders Islands, yeah, I know him pretty well, John. This is John from Kettering. He's a good mate down there, and I'll definitely catch up with him when I get down there. I'm glad I'm coming down after the Wooden Boat Festival, because every time I get down there and the Wooden Boat Festival's on, I seem to get a job off John, but that's all good. Talking about wooden boat festivals, there's one in Paynesville the year after the Tassie Wooden Boat Festival, and Peter, who is one of the organisers of it, has said that he's going to make me a keynote speaker there. So if you want to catch up with the old dude from Motor Sailing for Old Dudes, it might be a good opportunity for you to visit the Paynesville. Wooden Boat Festival. But that's a long way down the track, too far for me to plan out. But Paynesville and the lake system in Gippsland is another fantastic cruising ground that I love. So I'll spend a bit of time down there with my thermals on, no doubt. Level flotation, we did the sink test on it, Dowger. We've already done that. It had to stay afloat for 15 minutes. It stayed afloat for about half an hour. There's a compartment up the front that's a dry compartment, but the bulkhead on that dry compartment doesn't reach all the way to deck level. So once it's sunk to that level and it flooded that compartment, she went down pretty quick, but it took it about 30 minutes to get down to that level. So yeah, she'll pass the float test, not a problem at all. It took a long while for it to go down. Good on you, Peter, from East Wind Sailing. Yeah, well, doing it on land. I've done a bit of travelling around Tassie in a motorhome actually, and it was really good. But it's a lot more spectacular if you do it from off the coast. So really looking forward to getting down there and doing it. The electric motor I've got on it, Nick, is the electric motor I've got on it is 3 horsepower. But the dinghy is built to handle a 6 horsepower, so that's the way I'm going to go. I'm looking at 6 horsepower outboards at the moment. I guess the 3, you've got a Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha. The Suzuki is the lightest of the lot. That electric outboard on the back of the boat weighs 19 kilos. I can get a short shaft Suzuki that comes in at 24, which is not that much more. So I think that's the way I'll be going, but we'll make that decision down the track. Yeah, well, Logie said that he likes the idea of a rigid inflatable boat. I don't, especially up here, because Peter had a rigid inflatable on his boat. I'm not going to mention brands. He had it there for 2 years. The transom fell out of it. All the handles fell out of it. I had a rigid inflatable boat on the back of my boat. I had it for 3 years. Had to have the whole thing re-glued, and it lasted another 2. And then the transom fell out of it again. So the big problem with rigid inflatable boats up here in Queensland especially is the sun just tends to degrade the glue on the boats. You'll lose handles within 12 months, and eventually once the transom falls out of them, they're not much good. Another guy 2 boats down here, he just took his rigid inflatable to the tip for the same reason. So that's why these guys have got into building these boats, is they wanted something that was a bit more robust in the sun. And you know, that's the way I look at it too. I want something that's not going to last 2 or 3 years. I want it to outlast me, anything I put on. You're going tags? Haven't seen you for a while. I'll catch you when I'm down there, mate. Be a great trip. Might see you down there on your boat if you ever get it. Okay, I hope to catch up in Tas, guys. It'll be good. Happy New Year to everyone. Nothing much I can talk about, I don't think. We've been going for about half an hour, so that's good. Thanks to all you dudes for watching. I hope you have a great new year, a great year ahead. It's going to be exciting for me, and I'm really looking forward to it now, but I've got a few things to get into place. There'll be a few things I have to do to the boat just to get it prepared. When I get down to the Gold Coast, I'm going to give my mate Bruce a hand to haul his boat and anti-foul it, and I might even fly down and see the kids before I head right down to Tassie. So there's a big year planned anyway, and yeah, I'll probably really enjoy it. Anyway, it's okay. I've got a few more comments coming in. How do you take your coffee? Okay, just latte, mate. Latte and hot. How you going, Kay? Oh, in Vietnam. Oh, well, good on you. No worries. Catch you when I get back down the Gold Coast. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for the offer. Yeah, look, I'm pretty right. I've got Ross and Pete here that have been great. They've been helping me out, and I've got wheels when I need them, so it's good. Yeah, and good on you, Colin. Keep watching. Look, thanks to everyone that watches this little channel. I love making the vids, as I said, and I'm just so happy that people do enjoy watching them. So it's great, and I think it was good to kick the year off with a live stream, even though I did get the orientation of the phone wrong. I think it's been all right. I don't do it often enough, and I struggle with the tech sometimes. But anyway, all good. Right, okay. I'll try and let you know when I'm down there. But you can follow me on Facebook as well. For those of you that don't know, I've got a Facebook channel as well. I think there's a link to it on the Motor Sailing for Old Dudes channel. If you want to link up with that, you can keep up with me in real time. Whereas the vids are usually maybe 3 weeks, a month behind, so it's all good. Well, no more comments coming in, so I'm going to wrap it up. I hope I haven't missed anyone. I'll just scroll back up through them and make sure I haven't missed anyone. No, I think I've covered them all, guys. So Johnny Tagliaview, maybe some romance in Tassie. Well, you never know what falls out of a tree, John. But yeah, look, I'm pretty happy doing it on my own. And yeah, love you too, Emmy. My daughter's watching, so love you, Em. I'll see you pretty soon, darling. Yeah, so you never know. But look, I'm sort of happy doing it by myself. My big focus is going to be getting right round Tassie. If I can do that, I can tick that off my bucket list, and I'll be a happy camper. And then I can head back up to the mainland and maybe spend my final years up where it's warm. Anyway, dudes, look, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on board. Have a great 2025 and hope to see you somewhere. Stay out there till you can't, dudes. I've got to work out how to shut this down.